Welcome to Chalk Talk. I'm Andy Billman here. Rob Valore there. Grab your sticks. I know we just had it, but here we are again. It's Steeler week. We come back. Is there still mojo coming off the 24-19 win? In between, we lost against the Donkeys. We'll talk more as we head into Steeler week. Cavs. They keep rolling along. We're going to do a little bit of, do you trade Ty Jerome? Do we trade Levert? Other possibilities. And then we're going to do a whole bunch of picks between the NFL and college football. And finally, the Naylor Lane Thomas chatter that I'm not surprised came out today. People act like that's news, but there's a lot of news discussing will the Guardians trade either Thomas or Naylor, or maybe even both. But we start first with the Steelers. Rob, I'm going to actually lead off with this comment. I don't like how the Steelers and Browns are playing too close together like this. I think it takes some of the mojo out. Your thoughts?
Well, absolutely. I would have liked to stretch it out a little bit. You know, it would have made it a little more fun. But the schedule makers, for some reason, you know, they think they know what they're doing, or computer knows what the hell it's doing. But we have, you know, it is what it is. And I don't know if you guys watched Hard Knocks the other night. I wasn't over. You know, it wasn't exciting for me. The Browns, but I think because the Browns were on Monday night, Andy, so they couldn't really have shown a whole lot of, you know, of the Browns game, because they had to get the show. You would know better than me. They had to get the show produced and get it out there. But they didn't have a whole lot to say about the Browns, other than the biggest, you know, the assistant O-line coach in the meeting. I think he said the F word 18 times in 14 seconds or whatever. But I think the big thing that about this weekend, and Myles Garrett said it, reality has set in, Andy. We're not going to be playing football here into late January, February. So now we have got to be the spoilers.
Yep.
We want to paraphrase what Myles said, we want these guys to feel how we feel.
Yep.
So now, is that lip service, Andy, or does he really mean it?
I think he means it. I think, you know, I want to go back to one thing before I forget. Hard Knocks backseated the too much.
But Andy, because they were on Monday night, though, that's my stance.
But why not do the snow game? They didn't even touch it. It's like I thought that was kind of a miss. Anyways,
I'll give you that.
I'll leave it there. No, I think there's a lot to play for here because it's the Steelers, and it's always an important rivalry. There's also some things that have carried out that need to be talked about. The Chubb obvious thing coming back to Pittsburgh now physically to the field. There is the component of Tillman, in my opinion. Tillman got a dirty shot again. Steelers got another dirty shot on another Brown and knocked a player out. And I'm tired of that crap.
Yep.
And this is something that bothers me. I do count the COVID playoff win. I count that as a big win.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people don't. So a lot of people are like, well, the Browns haven't won in Pittsburgh in over 20 years. It's like, well, no. It won in 2020. So there's some that do that too. They're overdue to win in Pittsburgh. The only thing I can say from afar is this rivalry has more legs than what the people in Berea treat it like. Not the players, the front office. Mm-hmm. It's time to start beating Pitt.
Yep.
I'll leave it there. It's time to start beating Pitt. I will tell you, the Winston machine is high flying. Everyone likes him nationally. I know you enjoy him. I'm now on board with Winston too. So it's great that he's giving all these, proclamations. And I'm not so religious as he is, but I still enjoy his banter, and I get a kick out of it, even if I don't so much align with that. I think it's nice. I actually think it's very, very energizing. That said, he needs to play well too in Pittsburgh. It would go a long way.
Right.
I really do. So I think that's nice there. My big theme for this week that I teed up last show is I think this is an important game for Stefanski. I think Stefanski needs to win this game in some aspects. Wait, let me back up. He needs to keep this game competitive. You don't want to get blown out in Pittsburgh.
No.
That's a stench that you may not be able to get off.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. Let me back up a little bit. The front office, Andy, I don't know if the front office realizes or we care about the rivalry, about the beating Pittsburgh. It just doesn't seem like the front office is so entrenched as we are with this rivalry.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I don't know if it's because Jimmy and Dee were minority owners, or Dee Podesta is too busy with analytics, or I don't understand that. And if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong because I get a little confused as an older gentleman, 2020, when we beat them, was that not when Roethlisberger was sitting on the bench looking dejected and crying?
Crying.
Okay. So that, to me, in the record books, that's a W. Okay, that's a W.
It is, and that has a lot and carried a lot. This game is special, and it carries beyond the draft and the record book.
Yes.
It's a mentality, and that's one thing I will take out of that Hard Knock show that I took out of. I was impressed with the Steelers. I was not impressed with the Bengals.
No.
I actually can't wait saying, geez, now I can understand their record.
When you listen to Tomlin talk, I mean, you have to be you have to be impressed with that outfit. I mean, it's no wonder why they're always good. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I just think this game is a lot more meaning. So it's a warning for Stefanski not to get blown out. And I will say, I think that there's a blowout. Problems. This game usually directs the problems.
But okay, Andy, but let me ask you this. We've heard countless members of this team.
Mm-hmm.
The coach himself said, Nick Chubb is my favorite player. You could publish it, blah, 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 blah. How many of these guys are going to play this game for Nick Chubb? I mean, does that matter? Andy, are we playing forget the here's where I'm at. Andy, forget and we probably said this 2 weeks ago. Anytime the Browns played the Steelers, we were bitching and moaning because the Steelers were coming to Cleveland. The record shouldn't matter. 3-8, 8-3. It should be, we want to beat the Steelers.
Yes.
We want to take a terrible towel and piss on a terrible towel.
Burn it. Burn it down.
Because Andy, as a young man, I went to school in Pittsburgh, and I wore a Browns jacket to a Browns Steelers game, and for 4 hours, I heard relentlessly these yinzers up there say, "What's the color of shit? Brown, brown, brown." They couldn't come up with anything else. Andy, for 4 hours, what's the color of shit? Brown, brown. That's all they had, regardless. But anyhow, so you would think that Sunday we want to go up there and we want to win this football game for pride. We want to get these guys. Andy, where are the Steelers in the division? What place are they in? Check okay. Now the Ravens are now 8-5.
Yep.
So the Steelers, if my math is correct, Andy, the Steelers have right now a stranglehold on first place. Do we like that?
Again, it's about mentality. You see this more in college football. You don't see as much with the Browns. Again, if I were to tell you in 2 weeks for this for the Chiefs, it's not the same. It isn't. Even with Kelsey and everything else. The Dolphins is not the same. Ravens, Steelers, Kitty Cats, these games have real meaning. I hate the Broncos. It doesn't carry. These division games have meaning, and when you keep getting your ass kicked, which, by the way, Stefanski hasn't. And this is a strength of Stefanski. Here's the thing that I get where Rob's going, and it bothers me too. I read a comment from a writer in Cleveland.com, I won't say who goes, well, this is how I wonder if this is how they're going to get up for the game. This is the Nick Chubb. It's like, can't you get up for the games? It's the Steelers.
Right.
Can't you get up for the games in Pittsburgh? Can't you get up for the game because they tried to do so many bad things to us? And don't we want to win?
Right.
And by the way, to those people who said that to you, yellow is a color of weakness. So wave those fucking dumb towels, weak fans. God, it drives me crazy.
They're professionals. They should get up for the game to save their job, to save face.
Yes.
And to not be 3-10.
Yes.
Okay?
And by the way, they're heading down a road. The more you lose, and again, warning, you get blown out in this game or you get embarrassed, bad stuff follows.
Yes.
It follows. And that's my big
and let me bring up something else here. I saw a Twitter feed, an X feed last night, and I think maybe it'll come to fruition, Andy, but I think a lot of people like to throw a lot of crap on the wall.
Yeah.
And I like to consider us, we're new to this, but I like to consider us citizen journalists, so to speak. People put stuff out there, and I'm not going to say the guy's name. There's a report going around that Stefanski cannot wait till this season is over, and he wants to be done and to be out of this cesspool. Yep. And they're positioning Vrabel to take the job. So if now think of how asinine this is. If Stefanski thinks this is a cesspool and he wants to be done and go home and spend the holidays with his family, why would Vrabel want the job if Stefanski thinks it's a cesspool and he can't wait to get out?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of drama. The report also is a little late. That was the theme 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the theme is. I will also say this. I don't believe Stefanski is dumb. It's very dumb to want to get fired. That is a lame brain, weak idea. And I actually don't think that doesn't sound like Stefanski. No. That's why I think of the report. I'm not questioning it.
It's clickbait. It's clickbait.
I think it's clickbait too, but it's 2 weeks too late. Anyways, I that's why I think about that. My only warning again, though, is don't get blown out in Pittsburgh. Now, are we close to DTR getting playing time? I get asked this a lot. I'll lead off with this one. I do think at some point, if you keep losing, you may need to see a little more DTR. I don't think we're there yet because I want to see more Winston to see what this goes into next year with Winston as a possibility. And I get the feeling this is more of a real possibility. Rob, your thoughts on DTR?
Okay. Winston said he'd like to be back next year. No, I think maybe you may see DTR in a mop-up situation, but no. Nope.
Yeah, I just think right now it's more critical.
Highly doubt it.
Yeah, it's changed. And I did not feel that way 3 weeks ago. I do now. I really think you need to see more Winston right now.
and real quick, you don't even see when the Albatross went down, everybody said, well, there's going to be packages for DTR, kind of like the Justin Fields thing. That the first week, I think they had one play where that's gone.
Yep.
That's gone. They are all in on Winston. The Winston train, obviously, they're riding the Winston train, and I think that's what we're going to see.
Yes, I do too. And I think it's proper. I think it's proper right now. And again, I was not this guy 3 weeks ago. I have changed.
Mm-hmm.
I've been hammering this, so I'm going to hammer it again. I am concerned about this defense. I think the offense gets way too much focus. I am now starting to see things on defense that makes me wonder what is going to happen on that side of the ball. And it's okay to concentrate on offense because there's a lot to talk about. But don't forget about the defense. I am worried about the defense, Rob. I have not been happy with how things have been going on. What are your assessment on the defense right now?
Well, we've pounded on MJ Emerson all year with due cause. The injuries, there's nothing you could do about poor JOK. Okay.
Yeah. Big injury, by the way. Big injury. Yeah.
The regression is real. Okay.
Yes.
The regression is real. your defensive line is Myles. We're not going to bash Myles, but there's sometimes he's there. Sometimes now I understand. Now here's the thing. I understand, Andy. There's certain games. There's 2 or 3 guys on them. But if there's 2 or 3 guys on them, why aren't we hearing Shelby Harris, Tomlinson, Ogbo? Now I heard this morning I heard a stat, and I can't guarantee it, but I heard since Darius Smith has put on a Lions uniform, he has got the most pressures on the quarterback in the NFL. Okay, he's playing really well over there. Now he played well here, but here's what I'm saying. What the hell is going? So what is happening with our defense? Is it now? Okay, do you blame everything on Schwartz? Do you blame everything on the players? Is it a combination of a shitty offense that was the start of the year?
Yep.
Your defense was on the field too much. Schwartz never, if you look at Schwartz, never was blitzing as much as he was this year. Okay.
That's true.
So you have to, there's a lot of factors that cause and effect issues this year. But now the offense has changed. Okay. So that's not the excuse anymore. We're 4 or 5 weeks into the Jameis experience. The defense, I don't think, is recovered. Is it too late? I mean, the
one thing I'll add with the defense, to your point, you don't hear players on the team say, I love playing with Myles. You don't hear that a lot from players. You do not hear a lot of guys on the team saying that. You do hear about Winston right now. You definitely hear that about Chubb. And you hear that about some other players. You don't, Rob, maybe I don't read it. I don't hear that from a lot of players. I think there is something. I think Garrett's the most talented player in the NFL at times, but he gets double teamed. However, there is a thing that's been questioned since day one with him. Does he lead others to want to play better? I don't know that we've found that out, which tells me probably not.
He's quiet.
He is, and he's not a rah-rah guy. He's not Ray Lewis. To be honest, TJ Watt gets mouthy. I would compare it to Derek Thomas back in the 80s and 90s with Kansas City. He was another kind of Myles Garrett character. Really good player, soft-spoken, nice man. Myles, I don't want Myles Garrett to change either. I like Myles Garrett. So Darius Smith playing well for the Lions, there's a lot of factors that go into that, and I don't want to – and frankly, when you play for a team that's going to the Super Bowl, you're going to have an extra jump, so that's part of it too. So we'll throw that. That's my opinion about Zadarius Smith. And I don't wish him ill well either. I like Zadarius. But
absolutely.
I want Shelby Harris to play better. I'm very frustrated about what happened to my call this year. There's some other frustrations I have too with Isaiah McGuire. I just don't see this defensive line improving a whole lot, and we have a very talented defensive end. And it's frustrating as a fan. And I will go to your opening point. I'm an Emerson supporter. Rah. I do. I love the kid. He hasn't played well this year. Newsome he is hot and cold. He either plays well or he stinks. I can't explain Newsome. Denzel Ward, I think, is going to the Pro Bowl again. JOK was going to a Pro Bowl to his injury, and that's a big injury. It's really affected the team a lot. The linebackers, I think, have improved on this team, but the linebackers aren't coming back. I just get worried when I look at this long term with the Browns saying, what's his defense? It's like, well, outside of Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward, JOK got really hurt. I don't know what his status is going forward.
He may not come back.
That's my point. We don't know. I just think we focus so much on the offense. You can't lose sight of the defense. And the defense is falling into traps again I saw last year. That's not good.
No. And I'll tell you what, and when you say about focusing on we are focusing on the offense because it was historically bad, okay? And here's what, and we all bashed Barry. Nobody likes DePodesta, but I'll tell you this. My boy Jameis has made Judy look like a viable number one receiver in the last 4 or 5 weeks. Tell me I'm wrong.
Very good. I think he's proven his talent. I also think, there's, oh my gosh, see, I'm going to go down the road for a second. Anyways, I'm going to write it down. Yes, about Judy. Yes, agreed.
Elijah Moore has looked more than serviceable. Okay?
I'm shocked about how well he's playing. Yes.
Before Cedric Tillman got hurt, and this is a realm you and I haven't even touched on, he was the fantasy leader in points for those 3 or 4 weeks. Then you had Jamari Thrash starting to catch the ball. God bless Michael Woods II. Now, the last 2 guys I'm telling you, those were draft picks from Andrew Berry. So maybe Andrew Berry is not such an idiot. Well, I don't know. But anyhow, anyhow, Winston is making guys look better. Okay. Why? On offense. Why on defense? We need somebody that's going to make guys on defense look better. Is that possible, Andy?
Well, that's my point here, because I'm seeing breakdowns on communication. I'm seeing things where we're getting still no pressure from the defensive line in the center of this defense, not linebackers, defensive tackles. The defensive tackles on the Browns are not playing well. They are just not showing up in these games.
Okay, let me ask you a question. And I don't know this answer, was JOK the and I don't think we had a Mike linebacker. Who was the guy that got the call? Who was the guy that got that made all the? Was that
Bush? At points it was Bush. I know JOK also had it at times, and it varied. But yes, I think JOK, but I think Bush actually.
Really? Okay.
I remember Bush saying that.
Because don't you think that's a big? I mean, that's where a lot of. But if it was Bush all year, then I guess I'm wrong.
I think JOK, but see, that's my point. I don't know. And by the way, so that's why I'm saying Bush. Let me put that with a question mark, right? Meaning like I'm not really sure. But let's go back to something you hit on. This defense needs to make more of an impact in these games. And it isn't because of lack of talent. Denzel Ward's one of the best cornerbacks in the game.
Absolutely.
Myles Garrett's one of the best defenders of the game. One defensive player of the year. And yet this defense gets in these ruts again at the end of the year. And I'm seeing the ruts come back. And I don't like it. And I think that's concerning. I do want to talk about one player in offense that I don't see improved. He's had a wonky year, is the Chief, David Njoku. I want to bring him up because I think at times we talk about these players improving, and it's great. Rob, I don't know if Njoku is cutting the mustard anymore. I think he's overrated by some. Thoughts?
Well, the first week of the year, he kind of got hurt. He's one of those guys, he kind of has to hit his stride right away. And I love him. Listen, I love the guy. He is a physical specimen, and he is, I mean, but I agree. I agree with you. It's
just not there.
It's just right. And
he looks funky. He looks slow. He has awkward moments on the field.
I think that there should be an investigation, in my opinion, when this is all said and done, because Stefanski was a guy that when he came here, he loved throwing the football to tight ends. Andy, we had 4 or 5 tight ends on this roster, and now we've got him, Akins, and Amy Winehouse or Joe Biden White House, whatever the hell is. Okay, so that to me, I don't know. And okay, we're going to say Ken Dorsey, whatever. But honestly, Stefanski loved throwing to tight ends. Now, we had Austin Hooper. We had Kelvin Bryant or Harrison Bryant. We had some. Harrison Bryant was a draft pick of ours, right?
Harrison Bryant was a draft pick. He's a weird player to me. That's another player. Didn't really see. Thought he kind of plateaued. Like when he left, like I liked him.
Nobody was sad.
Yeah, I get it. I kind of thought I felt about Njoku. Like I get it. Like Akins to me and Njoku. I'm just gonna say Njoku's having a weird year. There's one thing I want to mention in this game that's something to watch. Newsome and Pickens got into it in the last game. I would keep your eye on that in this game. Pickens has been wild the last few weeks. He had a meltdown again against the Bengals. I would watch the Newsome Pickens thing in this game. I think this is an opportunity for Newsome. Flip the script. The Steelers always get in our heads in past events. Get into Pickens' head. Do something to make him mad. Get something to get him frustrated. I would tilt his ass. I really would. Early and often in this game.
If you saw in the first play of the game against the Bengals, he fell down and Russ threw a pick six, and he was in, which we saw on Hard Knocks. Yeah. He was like falling apart on the sidelines. They pulled him together and yada yada yada. He can come unglued very easily,
very quickly.
Okay, and here's the thing, Andy, we need to show our intestinal fortitude at 3-9. And so what? And I'm not advocating for dirty play. Okay, Mr. Billman, I'm not advocating for dirty play, and I'm surely not advocating to injure anybody's players. Okay, but Minka Fitzpatrick, those guys, they go for the legs. They go for it. Just watch the film. Watch the tape, what those guys do, okay? We can play a hard, physical game, and we should. Yes. That's all I'm saying. I'm not, honest to God, nobody should get hurt, but we should go out there and play a physical game. Let's punish those guys. What the hell do we have to lose?
Get in their head. If I'm Newsome, I want to tilt Pickens early. All right, so that's all really the discussion in Scuttlebutt. It sounds like Tillman is a go on Sunday, which is good. Sounds like he's going to be back. There's really no major injuries to speak of. It's kind of like the same old story here. What do you think on Sunday? You thinking Browns Steelers? Who do you got? And the point spread is 6.5 still. And that's pretty much across the board at all betting platforms. Pretty much 6.5.
Because the homer in me, of course, I'm taking the points because I'm the homer, but of course I'm taking my brownies. But if I was, I got to take the Browns. I don't know how. I just hope that Jameis is. Here's the thing, honestly, Andy, you could throw the ball on the Steelers. I don't know how. If I'll tell you this, if they can act like professionals, and if Winston can once again rally the troops, and if on a short week, if they could somehow give a shit, Andy, you know what I'm saying?
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Reality is now set in. Last week you go to Denver, you're 3-8, you beat Denver. Now, listen, if they were to beat Denver, you and I are sitting here and we're talking about we're not talking about MJ Emerson and Schwartz. We got the playoff bracket.
You might be able to slip in. I love the Browns. The other people are going to win, and I hope I'm wrong. I would take the under in this game. I think both these teams have scored a lot of points the last few weeks. Wouldn't surprise me if they go under here. I will warn people. I love the Browns. This is a dangerous game to look silly.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how the Browns come off a short week. I don't like that. I think there's going to start to become some complacency. I'm already starting to feel that a little bit in some talkings and some things I'm reading. We'll see. You never know. Again, if I were Schwartz and Stefanski, I'd want to get in Newsome's ear, get Pickens rolling, and away we go. All right, so let's go through the games here for some betting. and someday soon we'll have this little graphic and logo and the sound effect going. So now let's go into what we like to say is Chalk Talk, picking the lines. Tonight is Packers-Lions, very good game. Not something nice to watch in the background. You're watching Cavs and Nuggets, which we'll get to in a second. Lions, boy, they're saying basically pick them at home for the Lions. They're only giving up 3. That's interesting. That's an interesting line. They really like the Packers in this game. I would stay away from this game on all sides. I guess if you had a gun in my head, I would take the Lions. I think this is a tough pick. I don't know. The Packers did this last year. They started winning games late, so I can see the Packers winning it. I would stay away from this game.
I would. Here's what the total's at 51 and a hook right now.
It is.
I would say somehow I would lean under, and only because of this, because everybody is on the Lions freight train. Everybody's on the Lions freight train, and what you said, the Packers somehow. LaFleur is a good coach. Okay,
underrated in my opinion. I agree.
LaFleur is a good coach, and if you could give me in this primetime divisional game, if you give me that 3 and a hook, I'll take the Packers. Don't ask me why.
I understand.
And I'll take the Packers. Go ahead.
This feels like a blueprint from last year from Green Bay, where they started playing well at the end of the year, and I'll leave it there. A dreadful game at 1 o'clock between the Jaguars and Titans, and dreadful. How dreadful? The over-under line's 39.5. They are actually picking the Titans to be 3.5-point favorites at home. Again, basically pick them because usually they give the home team at least 3 points here. I think both these teams are miserable. I have learned in the past, stay away from games like this. All it does is get you a bit. I don't care. I'd stay away from it. I have no interest. Boring, awful game. Awful.
You know what I heard, that everyone that goes to this game gets a free case of no-dos because you're not going to make it through. Poor Trevor Lawrence is on. He's on the IR after that. The good news for us is the Titans coach. You know who the Titans coach? Brian Callahan. He is possibly on the hot seat.
Yep.
If he's on the hot seat and he gets fired, his dad may be out of a job, which we don't wish that on anybody. But if his dad's out of a job, we better call him up right away and get his dad back here to Cleveland. But anyhow, back on track. The Jaguars quarterback would be Big Mac Jones. Oh. I'm with you. I would stay away, but Will Levis at home. I mean, if you know, stay away from me. Buyer
beware and anything involved. One last thought. Now, as you poke my brain on this, if they do fire Brian Callahan, if I were Stefanski, I would take a deep breath and do a package deal. Hire Brian and Bill and get rid of Dorsey.
Okay, but here's the problem with Brian. Brian Callahan learned his offense from Zach Taylor.
I know.
But Zach Taylor doesn't know how to run. Zach Taylor made his offense around Joey B. They don't know how to run the football.
I would not do what I just said. I'm just saying, if you want Bill Callahan, I think to enhance. I don't think Bill Callahan's going to come back here unless he has some incentive. Incentive is hire my son with me. I would not do that. But that's if you want Bill Callahan back. That's just one simpleton opinion.
And Urban, did you see Urban had this whole spiel about his story to Shad Khan? Now, Urban screwed up that franchise in 14 games. Did you see that story?
I'm just going to say this out loud. There are some people in life, Hulk Hogan, Urban Meyer, they say some things, I wouldn't hold much validity to it.
Yeah.
And I'll just leave it there. Okay. I'll just leave it there. Like, people say stuff, and I'm like, I just move on. I know
it was asinine.
Yeah, Urban Meyer is a coach that should be in the College Football Hall of Fame. He's a person sometimes in the last few years, I think, is talking too much.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
I think he needs to button it.
Yeah.
I think he's anyways, Urban's all about Urban. He's all about Urban, all about him. Ugh.
In 14 games, he basically ruined that franchise, and then he puts out this tweet, this poem about don't hire Bill, hire Ben, meaning telling Shad Khan, don't hire the old man Bill Belichick, hire Ben Johnson. Like, who the hell are you to give anybody an opinion on? But anyhow,
again,
I digress. Carry on.
Urban Meyer, Hulk Hogan, think of. They say things, and I'm like, wow. That's all I say to myself. I'm like, wow. The Dolphins play the Jets. I have no easy transition from that. So Dolphins and Jets. The Dolphins are a 5.5-point favorite at home. I am all over the Dolphins in this game. I would take the Dolphins. I think the Jets are dead. I would not be surprised they start getting blown out.
These are games that Mike McDonald, that the Finns beat up teams like this at home. They will lay into the Jets.
Yes.
Aaron Rodgers is probably on the massage he's getting the ayahuasca treatment. I mean,
he's lighting lavender. He's got things going on in the background. He's doing yoga pants stretches. Look, this is I cannot tell you. Of everything this week, take the Dolphins.
Take the Dolphins because I mean what he has done, and we're a mess, but what he has done to that outfit there between five. And I mean, I didn't love Robert Saleh, but I mean, he gets him fired. They get Devontae Adams over there. I mean, Rodgers sabotages that outfit. And I tell you what, next year he's telling them, who the hell wants him back?
Oh, bye. Talk about a mess. That's a mess.
But so take the Fish. I think the Fish roll. They're going to get healthy. But they're done too. You know, hey, if they at 6 and 7. They may be but anyhow, take the Fish. I think they're going to put up a lot of points because the Jets are. Is Rodgers going to play?
Oh yeah, he'll play.
He'll play.
And by the way, looked terrible. Terrible against a bad Seahawks team.
Talk about AARP. I mean, he's 40 going on. Oh my God.
Jets are a mess. Falcons and Vikings. Another game that's hard for me to get into, as I don't really care for either team. The Vikings are giving up 6 here. I will just say this as someone who studies sports. Beware of Cousins going back to Minnesota. Even Kirk Cousins, I can see getting fired up for this game. Because of that, I would stay away from it. Darnold doesn't impress me. I know the Falcons stink. I know Cousins is not playing well. I would stay away from this game, though, because there's some mentality to me that says Kirk Cousins might want to get up and play well for this game.
I agree. Here's what my play on this game. I like the over. The Minnesota defense, as much as Flores had that defense firing on all cylinders earlier this year, they're kind of struggling. I agree. Kirk Cousins has looked pedestrian. He's looked rough lately, but because of what you said, Kirk coming back to Minnesota, the Falcons don't have a lot to play for. There could be some points there.
They're in playoff contention. They could get there. We'll have to see. I'll just say it again. I don't think I would take either team here. I doubled down on what my partner said. I think taking the over is a given. I think it's a cakewalk. I think they'll do it. I think you're right. I like that a lot. Saints are in New York against the Giants. God, Giants are terrible. Saints are a weird team. This is a weird game. If you had a gun to my head, I guess I would take the Saints here, even though you're giving up 4 points. I think the Giants are that bad. I think the Giants are going through a lot. I just don't trust the Saints enough. But I would accept if people took the Saints here. I just wouldn't do it myself. But I understand that if people take the Saints, even though they're giving up 4 on the road. I think the Giants are that bad. Giants are really bad.
Who's playing quarterback? Do we know if it's Drew Lock or Tommy Cutlets? We don't know. Probably Drew Lock.
It's so, again, because I'm fascinated by New York teams a little bit, especially when they suffer. I don't like New York teams when they win, but they're bad. I always get, what's going on here?
Yeah.
The Giants are just as much of a train wreck as the Jets. Dayball's a terrible coach. Again, though, I don't trust the Saints here enough. I just don't trust them enough to take them. But I would understand playing the Saints here. I really would. I give 4 points and feel okay. So the Giants are bad. God, they're
bad. I mean, I guess looking at it right now, 40 and a hook. I mean, I would probably take the under, and if I was parlaying, I would put the Saints on a couple of money line parlays, but I mean, you got to be a real degenerate to sit there and watch this game. I mean, shit.
Might as well bet on Chinese checkers with some other kids.
I mean, let's bet on cricket. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, seriously. Well, this is a gambler's paradise to me sometimes. Panthers are really bad. Eagles are really good. Eagles are at home. Eagles are giving up 13 points here. I would take the Eagles. I'm not going to, but I'd understand taking the Eagles. The Panthers have showed fight lately. That's my warning label. They are showing life. The coma is over. So I don't know, but I still think the Eagles will roll here.
Okay, that's funny that you happen to say that. All of a sudden, Bryce Young got benched, and they were talking about shipping him out of town. He's done, blah, 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 blah. And Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle, was playing, I didn't even know he was alive, let alone still in the league. He was playing quarterback, I think, when we were in high school. But anyhow, then the poor bastard got in a car accident, God forbid. You know, then he was okay.
Poor guy.
So then they put Bryce back in because they had no choice.
Sure.
And he started to play better. Okay, so the Panthers, now that messed up a lot of people's survivor picks because everybody was, we were plotting to go, whoever's left in survivor, we were just going to fade the Panthers. But anyhow, so now, at first glance, you think the Eagles are a freight train. Eagles are going to blow this team out. They're going to run right through them. This is an easy lay the 2 touchdowns and go with it. But then, like you said, well, the Panthers, man, they've been playing better. Bryce Young, Andy, the Eagles. Listen, the Eagles. If you want to be a little bit crazy, look at the first half line. Maybe the Eagles will let them hang around.
Sure.
But Barkley's this is men versus boys. The Eagles are gonna. You'll see. Who the hell's the Eagles' backup? You'll see him in there in the third quarter probably.
Yeah, I like Barkley in this game over the yards, though. I think Barkley will have a big day on the ground. I really do. Raiders, Buccaneers, the Gruden Bowl without Gruden. The Tampa Bay Bucs are 6.5-point favorites at home. I don't trust the Bucs enough to do this, so I'm staying away here. Raiders are in one of those classes again. Really bad team here. If you trust Baker at home to do it, sure. I don't know what to say about the Raiders. They either show a lot of life and they're a total thorn, or they lay down and they look terrible. I don't think the Raiders play up for this game, to be honest, but I don't know. They're 2-10. God, it's amazing the Browns lost to this team. Ugh, terrible.
I don't know if who's Aiden O'Connell playing. I mean, this is some bad football right there out of the Raiders.
Again, it just, you just know the Buccaneers should blow them out, but the Raiders almost they're just so weird. The Raiders, oh my God, what a goofy team. The Raiders are goofy. They drive you crazy. They really do.
And Mark Davis, how I mean, poor Al Davis has got to be rolling over in his grave because
he's waving a white towel.
I mean, what a sickening outfit that he runs out there. They moved to Las Vegas, and he lets the inmates run the asylum, and they hired this. When the last time this happened, they should have kept Rich Bisaccia. He got him to the playoffs. They fire him, and then. So then the next time this happens, he keeps Antonio Pierce, and this guy can't. I mean, this is coaching malpractice 101. And you got to understand this. Just bear with me for 1 minute. There's how many NFL teams? 32, right?
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken. So there's 32 of these jobs in the world, Mr. Billman. So this is one of the most highly touted jobs in the world. And we have got these, I mean, buffoons that are the coaching malpractice between him and Eberflus. How these guys get in these prominent positions is unbeknownst to me, okay? And it continues to go on and on and on. So why do you ask a guy like me in Cleveland, Ohio, gives a shit? Because I, for some reason, wager my hard-earned money on these assholes, right? How could you bet? So you ask me, okay, how could I take the Raiders? There's not a chance in hell that I'm taking the Raiders, Andy. Because why? Because Kenny Stabler could be the quarterback. Marcus Allen could be the running back. But as long as that asshole's coaching this weekend, I'm not playing him. Is that good enough, sir?
Seahawks are playing the Cardinals in Arizona. Arizona's giving up 2.5. I have nothing to follow up with that comment there. I don't like NFC West games. I don't bet on them. I think they're too dangerous. I don't watch enough of these games this year. So I don't think any of these teams are that interesting. If I had a gun to my head, I would actually take the Cardinals. But I just don't trust that. That division's wild and crazy when they play each other. I just would stay away. I have no interest in betting this game either. None.
Okay, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to take the Cardinals for 2 reasons. I've got the Cardinals over 6.5 wins, so I need them to win this game on a nice little parlay I had earlier in the year.
Well played.
I really, and I'll show you this. I got this nice little parlay. I'll show you. I'll show you off the air. I like the way the Cardinals play. Seattle is just so up and down. I just think Geno Smith is had an odd year. I do like their coach.
Receivers, weird passing, but they have great receivers.
Oh,
Smith,
yeah.
Jigba, and Metcalf. I mean, guys can play.
Talented.
Really, really good players.
But, and this is hard to say. So I like the Cardinals, and I would lean under in this one, which is hard to say because with these two teams get together, anything could happen.
Yeah.
Just a slight lean on the under, but Cardinals for me.
I love this next game. I'm all over the blue and red. I think the Buffalo Bills will win big in the Rams. I know the Rams are goofy, and it's an East Coast team going to West Coast. I don't care in this case. I think the Bills are rolling. I know this is something in my heart, in my gambling mind I know I shouldn't do, but I'm going to take the chance. I think the Bills will roll the Rams here. I think the Rams are very average. I think they're going to get the doors blown off of them.
Okay, Andy, are you sitting down?
Mm-hmm.
Rams. I take the Rams money line.
Not surprised. That's a typical betting guy pick. The Rams are East coming to West. The Rams are good enough to win this game. I'm not naive. And the coach is a good coach.
And I had a feeling that you were going to be on the Bills.
Oh,
I don't know why. I had a feeling, but this as a bettor, this game because it just and hopefully you're right because this lines up for the Rams. This lines up for McVay and the boys.
I do, and again, I'll probably face plant here. I'm worrying that I'm still going to go high on them. This next game is another one I would never normally do, but the Bears fired their coach. Eberflus is gone. This normally equates to a win. I think the Niners are a complete mess. That in mind, I'm taking the Bears here. On the road, getting 4, I think they'll cover. I don't know if they're going to win. I think they'll cover 4 points. I think it'll be a close loss or a close win. I like the Bears here. I'm taking the Bears. I am taking the Bears. I love the Bears in this game. I think they'll cover.
Okay, and I'll agree just for the simple fact. I'm taking the Bears on the money line, excuse me, because of the fact you fire your coach. They're out from underneath the albatross of Matt Eberflus, who is another one of the coaching malpractice, disgusting messes.
Yep.
Thomas Brown is a guy that people have talked about his offensive guru skills. He's a guy that has intrigued a lot of people. Okay. I don't know. So here's what I'm saying. He's got a shot now. not very likely that they're going to give this guy the keys to the Bears next year. It's not very likely.
I don't think
but
so.
He has got a chance to make a real good showing here to get an offense. He wasn't even the offensive coordinator until they fired Shane Waldron. So here's my point. They've got nothing to lose, okay? The 49ers are banged up. I mean, they are dinged up. They're banged up.
Walking, I agree.
They just came from Buffalo where they got pounded.
Shanahan's kind of depressed. McCaffrey's injured.
I mean, Shanahan, who I think is a tremendous coach, he's had a bad year. Okay. So I think the Bears, so here's what I'm saying. I think Thomas Brown goes in there. You're riding the high, and you study sports for a living. That first week of when you fired a coach, you've got that high that everyone's excited. This guy's going to go out there and throw caution to the wind and expect, like I say, the theater of the absurd. Anything could happen. Give me the Bears and the points.
Chargers are the Chiefs this weekend on Sunday Night Football. Good game in Kansas City. I'm sitting this game. The Chiefs are giving away 4. And the total is 42.5. I can see Harbaugh and the Chargers win this game. The Chiefs at some point are going to flip a switch. I just don't know if it's going to be this game or not, to be honest with you. I'm staying away from it. I think it's a good game. I don't really have a feel, so I can see the Chargers winning this game. So because of that, I'm staying away from this game. That's my honest opinion on
it. I'm going over on the. I'm going over 7.5 on the Taylor Swift sightings, and I think that's
low. That's low. I agree. That's low.
The Chiefs just don't blow anybody out, right? And they've just been sneaking by. And here's the thing about the Chargers. The Chargers, Harbaugh's a hell of a coach. You can't dispute that.
Really good coach.
The Chargers really aren't that good of a team.
Not really.
Brandon Staley was just that bad of a coach.
One of the buffoons.
He was a JV coach. He was a JV coach.
Decisions. That was the champion of, well, you know how good of a quarterback Gilbert is. You know what? It doesn't matter. Your coach is terrible. God, he was terrible. Oh, awful.
So with this one here, if it's at 4 right now, okay, if it's at 4 right now, I agree. It's a stay away for me because you could see. I mean, I would probably take the 4 because I could see this being this is going to be a close game.
Yeah,
it's going to be a close game.
I think you're right. If it was in LA, I would take the Chargers. It's not, and that worries me here.
Yeah.
That's why I'm sticking with the no play.
Yeah.
The Monday Night Football game, to me, is another one. If I had to, I would take the Kitty Cats. They're giving away 5.5. But I really like the over in this game.
Oh, I love it.
49.5. I would be all over it. The Bengals don't know up from down on defense. I think after watching Hard Knocks, I don't know how much longer I'd want Zach Taylor coach on my team. But that's not my team, so I don't care. And they're in my division, so I actually like Zach Taylor being on the Bengals.
Yep.
The Cowboys really don't have much of a vibe, even though they've won 2 in a row. You wouldn't know it. I think it's kind of fugazi. I think the Bengals are overdue to win a game like that. I think they blow them out. I really do. I think the Bengals smoke them big.
I agree with you. I concur on the over, but I just don't know how the Bengals stop anybody. I like Dallas at home. I heard some reports this week that they're talking about extending Mike McCarthy, which to me is another
enjoy.
which is another absurdity.
Oh my God. Enjoy.
Right. Cooper Rush is starting to get a little bit of rhythm. I just think here's the thing, Andy. We should do a little ladder bet with Joe Burrow. Burrow will probably throw for 400 yards. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
They'll put up 30 points, but they're going to give up 33.
I think Burrow is such a competitor, he won't let the Bengals lose in this game. And I am
What
not.
if they don't have the ball last?
Here's
Dallas
the funny
has the ball last.
So, Rob, here's the thing. I'm not impressed with Dallas at all. I think they just got by with the Giants. And I don't know. Once a year you have a game where you can't explain. I can't explain how DC lost to the Cowboys. I can't explain it. So it's just one of those losses. So those are the picks. Take them and, Godspeed. All right, we're going to zip through college football. For Buckeye fans, go back to our last podcast, 31 minutes in. We break down the Michigan game. There's nothing new to really report here. And we're going to talk about them more next week. So we're going to do quickly college football games. UNLV, Boise. I love Boise State in this game because it's in their home turf. I think they win big. I know UNLV is kind of becoming a sexy pick. If it's in a neutral site, I'd be on it. It's not. It's in Boise. I like Boise a lot here. I like them a lot here.
Give me UNLV. Wow. I think here's the thing. And UNLV, that quarterback, that Williams. Listen, listen. I understand because my kid's going to be pissed because he loves Genty. He loves Genty, and he wants the Browns to end up with Genty. But I just think if UNLV could stop Genty, what are they going to do?
Madsen is a good thrower. He can throw the ball. Quarterback for Boise. I think Boise is very good. This is not a new rodeo for them. They've been dying to get in one of these playoff games. I think they're just going to – I love Boise. I love Boise in this game. Blue
Good.
Smurfs. And by the way, we'll come back in here and tell you how much pizza money I lost in the game. I do this too much in my life. This next game, don't feel good story. Everyone's going to be like, oh, Army is in West Point. Well, take Tulane, okay? Tulane's going to smoke them. Yeah. This has been a nice story. Tulane's actually good. I have no idea why they're only 5-point favorites. I think Tulane's going to absolutely smoke them in this game. Absolutely smoke them.
Listen, I've loved the service academies. I love their offense. I love running their offense. I love running the single wing. I love what they do. But Tulane and Memphis, they were 2-9-2 teams last week, and Tulane just ran them out. Okay.
Yeah.
Army is going to have to, if Army wants to stay around, they're going to have to control the ball. They're going to have 10-minute drives, and they're not going to be able to do it. So the only thing, Andy, that concerns me, this to me, just like you said, you love Boise, this to me feels like a Christmas gift. And when something from Vegas seems so, maybe it's not. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Andy, this is like one. I mean, because I'm with you. I think Tulane, as much as I love I love Army. I love them. I love the way they play. I love that triple option. But can you just see them? I just can't see them hanging around.
I think Tulane's going to smoke them.
Right. And you want to load up on them. What the hell? But sometimes when it seems too easy, Andy, it seems like a Christmas gift.
I hear you. This one was actually, no. I think Boise is going to win big. All right, Iowa State, Arizona State. I have no feel for this game whatsoever. I think both these teams are kind of miserable to watch. My aunt went to Iowa State, so if you held a gun to my head, I'd take the Cyclones because Campbell's got some Cleveland ties. So I guess I'd take them. I have no feel for this game whatsoever. I don't even know if I care to really watch it much. And I love college football. This game just does not interest me. I don't know why. I'm no interest in this game.
I am on myself. I am on Arizona State, and I'm on Arizona State for the number one reason. And if you don't know about them, you guys out there don't know about them, you should look up Cam Skattebo. You ever hear of Cam Skattebo?
Great name.
Cam Skattebo has 1,398 yards and 17 TDs. He's the running back for Arizona State.
Oh, I see.
I tell you what, he'd look real pretty in a Browns uniform. Give me Arizona State.
Georgia, Texas rematch. Love this game. This is a big game. This is a buckle up and have fun. Go to the Fairview Tavern, knock down some Bears, and watch good football. Yes, it's the SEC, but this is a fabulous game. Love the historical significance of this game. Love these two teams played, and now they're playing in Atlanta. So it's a bit of a home vibe here for the Athens Bulldogs. I would not take this game. Georgia did not impress me at the end of the season. Texas looks good, but I don't know. I like Kirby Smart in big games, and Kirby Smart's coaching this game. So because of that, I'm not doing anything on this game. I'm enjoying it as a fan. If I had a gun to my head, I would probably take Texas. I'm not confident in it at all, as you can tell from my voice.
I agree with you on Kirby Smart. I think Kirby Smart is a hell of a coach.
Very good coach.
And earlier on, way back in the beginning, I picked Georgia to win the whole thing. He don't have the horses. Carson Beck just isn't it.
Not a big game quarterback.
He's not a big game quarterback, and I don't think. Here's the only thing that concerns me. Texas can win this game, but they can't get. They get confused. Quinn Ewers is out there. Arch Manning's out there. They don't know which one's out there. They have to stay true to the game plan, and they just get. It's to me sometimes like Texas. They don't know what the hell they're doing.
They get tangled is the word I would use. There's times they get into weird turnovers. They like Texas A&M. I watched that entire game. They should have blown them out. And they kept having problems on fourth down and weird turnovers. They are a very good defense. Texas has a good defense.
Yep.
That defense can win a national championship. But I can tell you from afar, if I were an Orange fan for Texas, I'd be shouting from the hilltops, Arch Manning, Arch Manning, Arch Manning. That's the quarterback. They're not going to do that here in this game. And I think that might cost them a national championship. I really do. Penn State, Oregon, I think this is kind of fool's gold. I'd be all over the Ducks. I don't trust the Nittany Lions in this spot. Would it surprise me Nittany Lions win? No. But I do like the Ducks enough that I'm probably going to take them here and give up 3.5 points. I like the Ducks.
Oh, absolutely. This is, to me, once again, this is another Christmas gift. I have zero faith in James Franklin. And in a big game, I cannot see Drew Aller performing. Yeah. I think that what's number 9? Briz, what the hell's their backup? That kid will have to come in and run the I
know what you're talking about. He's
Prabuka, what the hell is it? I'm unprepared. Yeah. Yes. Their backup because here's what I'm telling you. Listen, if you're a Penn State fan, how can you see James Franklin and Drew Aller performing in a big game?
Again, you
can't.
Until they do it, I'm not trusting them. And in fact, I like Oregon so much, I'm taking them in this game. That's all I can say. Yeah, that's just how I feel. It's like, well, now would Penn State winning shock me? No. But like, I think they're going to win. Actually, I don't know. I don't love it. I just like it. I guess that's my.
Andy, it would shock me because I don't. They are completely fugazi because of the fact they put up big numbers. They are the depth. If you go to your dictionary and look up bully, that's them because they beat the hell out of the little guy and they put these big numbers up against your Purdue, right?
Oh, I know.
That's what they do.
I don't disagree. Last one quickly. This is, I'm just going to say it. I know on paper, I know team-wise, it's probably SMU. But I'm going to say Dabo wins. Dabo figures it out. You're getting 2.5 points. It's a basic home game for Clemson. I can't see people from Dallas going into Charlotte to watch the game. I think Clemson will have a home field type of advantage. I think Clemson somehow figures it out and wins the game. I can't explain to you why. This is just one of those things like I think Dabo will reach into his inner Jesus Christ methods and do some things that will really pull up some like religious type of vibe and energy in this team, and I think Clemson wins. But yes, I think SMU's a better team. There you
go. SMU is 8. They're 11-1. Clemson is 17. They're 9-3. I agree with everything you said. SMU on paper, the numbers are better. They are just the better outfit. Okay.
Yep.
So if you do your work, you do your little analytics, you do your little breakdown of the game. I should sit here and say to you, Andy, take SMU. But then at the bottom of the paper, you write down Dabo Swinney, Clemson, Rhett Lashley, SMU. How could you put any money on SMU?
I know.
Say no more.
I know. We'll talk about Cavs and Guardians in our next podcast with our boy Jeffrey. So real fast, it's Pitt and Cleveland week. I think we have very similar vibes about Winston right now. Let's see how he plays out. I would watch that defense, fans. Let's see how the defense performs here. We gave you all of our picks. We gave you all the college football picks. We'll do a little bit of Cavs trade. We'll do a little bit of Guardians. What do you do with Naylor? What do you do with the pitching staff out here in the next round? Rob there, Andy here. Enjoy the weekend. Come on, Browns. Bring us home a win. Have a good one.
Bye.